What is going on there, citizens of the Reject Nation? Greg here today. I just got back from an 18-hour road trip from Colorado to California. Tad out of it, but this news dropped while I was on the road. And why was I in Colorado? Because this guy was getting hitched. That's right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You can tone down the applause now. Thank you all very much. But yeah, anyway, John was obviously out there. He's one of the best men, and he's staying out in Colorado a little while longer to enjoy himself, to take in some new sights. And the rest of the team, mainly just he's got himself an ear infection, and I think he needs to rest a little bit longer. So yeah, just me right now. But what are we talking about today? We're talking about Dwayne Johnson finally discussing the future of Black Adam within the DC universe, James Gunn's response to what Dwayne Johnson said. And the reason I want to talk about it is because when I go online, the main rhetoric, the main part of the conversation surrounding Dwayne Johnson's statement seems to be something that I am just not in sync with. It's from the first time I read it to every time I reread it, I have not thought this, which is that Dwayne Johnson got the boot. He's no longer going to be Black Adam. It's not what I interpret it as. I feel like it's laid out right here in his statement. And so I just want to go over it. I got a little bit more of a positive take here, and maybe I'm talking out of my ass and I'm being overly optimistic, but I just feel like I'm being just logical about it. I don't know. I don't mean that as an insult to other people. That's just my interpretation of what's being said here. So let's go into it. Now, this kind of like a two-parter to Dwayne Johnson's statement that was released. I just want to focus on the first part of it because that's where the good stuff is. And he says, "My passionate friends, I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe." James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam, this is very important. I feel like this is the part that's getting really misinterpreted. Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and $7, which is Dwayne Johnson's company, have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC Multiverse chapters. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC and Marvel. And Marvel, I might not be Black Adam for a while. So, if you want to cast me in one of your projects, I'm championing for you to win, and win big as well as DC. That's why I'm throwing your name in here in this statement. You guys know me, and I have very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words. And I find that to be true, that he's usually a very transparent guy. That's the word that keeps going around with James Gunn as well, that it's nice to see the CEO, even though I think he can be very vague a lot of the time. People keep saying, it's nice to have a transparent CEO out there, man, just being transparent with the fans. So if the word surrounding these guys is direct with their words and being transparent, I feel like this message would have been a lot more direct, and he would have just said, I'm not Black Adam anymore. The same way Henry Cavill said, I'm not Superman anymore. That's being direct with your words. And James Gunn, he responded to this. What he basically just said was something very short and simple, which is love The Rock, and I'm always excited to see what he and $7 do next. Can't wait to collaborate soon. So, with all that being said, what I got from this was basically that whatever this essentially phase one of James Gunn's newly established DC universe, whatever this phase one is of that, Black Adam will not be featured in that particular phase. But the multiverse still exists. Even a tweet that someone else asked him recently saying, are you open to producing any Elseworlds DC projects that aren't set in the DCU? And he said that is actively happening. So with all that being said, and I didn't even need that other tweet, because it says right here that they want to figure out how Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. So what I gathered from this is that they're not going to erase Black Adam. They're not going to even erase like the Snyderverse movies or anything that came prior to before it. What we're going to do is focus on a new timeline. That new timeline will be the main timeline that the audience will give their time and devotion to as the essential core timeline. But there will be a multiverse out there where the other films perhaps exist within. I don't know what the ending of Flashpoint's going to be, but I imagine that's what's going to help establish here. And within the multiverses, you'll have things like Joker, you'll have things like the Batman, and then you'll also have things like Black Adam. And what they talked about was, yeah, down the road, as we're going more into the Elseworlds, we will have Black Adam return. It's pretty much laid out right here. It's just not going to be in phase 1. So yeah, we won't see Black Adam for a while, at least like Dwayne Johnson's version of Black Adam at least, but he's not, doesn't sound like he's going anywhere. To me, you know, Dwayne Johnson is someone who has been championing for so long for this character. He loves playing Black Adam. He loves this movie. He is the only reason, in my opinion, why this movie made any money at all. Whether or not it actually profited is a whole other question. But the fact that people watch it, he was the main person behind marketing this film. His enthusiasm is through the roof for it. And I think he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure he can still play him, even if that means just establishing him as part of the multiverse. The thing that just popped into my mind that I'd be very curious about is, what was the conversation about Henry Cavill? Like, when Dwayne Johnson, you know, Dwayne Johnson had to have brought that up with his buddy James Gunn. Like, dude, I spent so much time and effort and going toe to toe with Warner Brothers to get Henry Cavill to come back as Superman, and you pulled this shit? Come on, dude, we're supposed to be friends. You know, there had to have been some kind of, you know, I don't know the words, animosity or some shit, but there had to be some kind of annoyance or grievance towards the situation. And if there's any part of the conversation I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for, it would be that section right there, because Dwayne Johnson worked his ass off to get Henry Cavill back, and then James Gunn gave him the boot, and Henry Cavill's, you know, he seemed pretty annoyed, obviously, so I'd be quite vexed by the situation as well, and I'm vexed for Henry Cavill in that situation. So I would love to know what, you know, Dwayne Johnson's interaction with him was about. Like, I can't imagine he's like, I get it, man. No, totally. No, it's cool. We're cool. Because, you know, Dwayne Johnson, he really wanted that specific film with Black Adam versus, you know, Henry Cavill Superman. But it got me thinking, you know, he can't ruin everything for us. They can't take away all surprises for us. It sounds to me, you know, when he's going out there, James Gunn, talking about how there's going to be Elseworlds established, and Dwayne Johnson's reaffirming that, saying that there's going to be DC multiverse chapters and Black Adam will be a part of that. What if down the road we actually do get to at least have that catharsis of getting Henry Cavill? Like, the forever discussion will carry on with Henry Cavill. What if we end up actually getting that film where Henry Cavill does show up for whatever that multiverse film is down the road, and you get to at least have that fight with Black Adam and Henry Cavill? Like, how cool would that be, that after all this time and getting the boot and whatever, that we do at least get to have that one last time? Because it seems like they're probably building to some kind of Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever. There's got to be something very special down the road that they are building to with a kind of multiversal crossover. So yeah, I just basically wanted to hop in here and say, guys, look, they're establishing that there's going to be Elseworlds, that it's not going to be like the MCU where it's just one main timeline that we're following. Even with the fact that they have the multiverse, there's very few projects within the, like, you know, the movies themselves are very, they adhere kind of religiously to the main timeline, whereas like the other stuff, like things like Werewolf by Night and whatever in the MCU, they do seem like they're part of the multiversal side of it, but they're a little bit not as seen as important or as significant to the development, where here, to establish your new DC universe, to kick it off that way, with also establishing that we're going to have, you know, the Elseworlds simultaneously running. Come on, that's awesome. Like, I think we'd probably get the main timeline for a while first, but, you know, if you're keeping things like Joker around or whatever, you have to be keeping the Elseworlds simultaneously running. So to me, I think this is really cool. This sounds like a great direction, and I think a way where both parties win, where James Gunn can do his main timeline and the main things he wants to do with it, but that doesn't mean Black Adam's, you know, being exiled out of this. It sounds like Black Adam is still going to carry on in some way, shape, or form with Dwayne Johnson in the role, and that's just my take on it based off of the second paragraph here. Yeah. Anywho, guys, what do you think about this piece of news? Leave your thoughts down below. Do you think that this means Dwayne Johnson's not coming back at all? What's your take on it? Are you excited for the Elseworlds? Has all this information regarding the shakeups at DC making you a little bit stressed out and worried about the future? Comment below. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, we'll catch you all soon.